Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We are very welcome to present you one of our definitely favorite people in Chicago and a great guest. It's Coach Tryon that in the past 15 years he's been coaching. He has his own club. He will tell us more a little bit about that, and as well his playing career and play style that he had as a soccer player is a very, when you say playmaker, he was the definition of a true playmaker. And Tryon, hi, welcome to Uni Highlights.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Congratulations on your podcast, guys.
Oh, thank you. This is our episode number 2. And we look just forward to have a slight little bit chat about different topics, which I'm sure you're very knowledgeable of. But before we go and start questioning with questions, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, some brief introduction for everyone, whoever is going to watch this podcast?
So, my name is Tryon. I live in Naperville. I run a small club here in Naperville, a traveling club, Naperville Eagles Soccer Club. I started this club maybe around 15 years ago, I want to say, and more official in the last 11, 12 years. But I've been coaching since 1999. Oof, man, I'm old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you
I took a shower this week. So, yeah, I've been around a little bit in this world of youth soccer, and it's an enjoyable job. If you're patient with the kids and you like what you're doing, it's a great job. I love it.
Nice. So 15 years, you mentioned that you went 15 years ago, opened it a little bit more serious in 11, 12 years. So 3 years.
Yeah, so officially the club was set up in 2011. But I was training some of the teams already before that. And
nice.
But I've been working for a training company prior to starting the club since 1999. Yeah.
Wow, very nice. So, such a long experience from 1999 as well. Having your own club, it's definitely lots of responsibilities, lots of things that you were going through. Can you tell us, being so long in United States, can you tell us how is sports overall in US? Just your opinion, your feedback, and your comment on it. Is it very good? Is it can it be better, and etc.
Kids have so many great opportunities in this country. They are so lucky. You turn your head in every direction. There's a sport available to every kid. You know, obviously the more established American sports: baseball, football, basketball, hockey. But then soccer, since I've been involved in it, the last 20 years, 30 years, has been growing exponentially. Every year, more and more boys and girls are coming into soccer. But it's great. All these kids, they have these opportunities. There's a sport for every kid, for every ability. And that's a really good thing for the kids growing in this country.
Nice. That's a positive thing to say. I wanted to mention, first time me being in the United States, I saw so many tennis courts like just wide open, and I was going back and forth, kind of like asking my American buddy, "Hey, is this free to play?" He's like, "Yes," thinking that you should be paid per hour to go on a tennis court. Such a great quality of the courts. It was free, park, open for everyone.
Yes, the facilities are available everywhere in every town for almost every kind of sport. And with so many parks around, all you need is a ball and you find a piece of grass and you can play soccer or play football or run. The facilities are amazing.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Go ahead.
I just want to mention that those opportunities that people have in USA are amazing, because in Europe you need to pay for every like a field or anything else?
I mean, of course, for official games, you have to rent fields here also. But just to play, to come out and play, there's plenty of parks and spaces and facilities for free.
It's amazing.
And even for, even there's, if you look at soccer, there's, and I'm sure other sports too, there's the less expensive option where you play through your local park district. And that's a really good start for beginners. And it's really easy for the parents. It's not super expensive. And the commitment level, it's a little bit less, I want to say. But then for those a little more serious, then you have the option to go to travel, soccer, and that's when it gets a little expensive. It could get really expensive, of course. But then facilities, you have to pay a little more for those facilities, especially for games. So
Excellent.
Yes, I just wanted to finish. In your free time, people can use those opportunities when they are not so that's a good thing. So I want to ask you, what is your stand on a debate? Play one sport or play a lot of sports during your youth?
This is a debate that's been around for many, many years, and I don't think there's a right answer to it.
What's your interest? Be honest.
I'll tell you my honest opinion. I just don't think I'll tell you my honest personal opinion, but I can't, I'm not saying mine is right or is better than some other people, but it's a very touchy subject. My opinion is at the younger ages, kids should be exposed to multiple sports. I know I was, even growing up in Romania, I tried different sports, but I fell on soccer around 10 years old. But at some point, I think parents have to guide a kid towards the sport that the kid is better at. So if a child is really good at baseball, better than, let's say, at soccer or other sport, parents should guide a little bit the kid towards that sport more and more, And I think this is really hard for parents because how do you decide which sport to push the kid in, which direction? In many cases, the kid will choose, but in many cases, kids don't choose. They want to do all of them. What I recommend to our players is right around the age of 10, 11, I want to say, start prioritizing a little bit. Pick one sport they really want to pursue and commit to that sport first. And if you want to do another sport, I would suggest do that in a lower level. I don't recommend doing 2 sports in traveling, for example.
Very, very
because that's hard on the kid, hard on the parents, hard for the parents to manage all the commitments. Plus, you got school, family activities, and then if you do 2 traveling sports, it's super difficult for families.
Nice to
so
say.
I recommend doing a traveling sport, and then if you have another sport that you like, do it maybe in park district or in a less challenging commitment-wise environment. Cool. But definitely at the younger ages, expose the kids to multiple sports to see which direction the kid naturally wants to go.
Very good input on this topic that is, as you mentioned, very sensitive one. Now focus on parents. Tell us, in your very, very long and extensive experience, how does the kind of perfect parent looks like in terms of how much supportive, what parents should do and what parents should not do, in so to say, because you're dealing on a daily basis.
Again, I think it comes down to age a little bit. At the younger ages, parents should be exposing the kid to multiple sports, right? But then again, as I mentioned a minute ago, start guiding a little bit the child towards that sport that you think or you come to a conclusion that the kid is doing best at, and then start pushing a little bit towards that sport, which means don't miss any practices, be at the games, practice at home on your own, watch soccer on TV, read about the sport, of course, if the sport is soccer, and read about the players. So I think this is a lack of knowledge in this country where kids really don't watch enough soccer on TV. They're not reading about soccer world enough, about MLS or Europe or any other part of the world. So in my opinion, parents should do that, support the kid, but then talk to your kid and say, hey, if you want to do the sport, you have to be at every practice. You have to be at every game. You have to practice at home. I get it. It's difficult in many cases because parents work and kids have other activities, but that would be the ideal parent.
Thank you.
A little bit less involvement. Yeah. And one more thing I want to add, a little bit less involvement, parent with a coach, unless there's an issue involved. But in Europe, growing, you guys know, parents have there's no interaction much between the parent and coach. It's through, coach does his thing.
Very,
the parent,
very formal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And here sometimes parents are a little bit too involved about why is my child not playing enough, so instead of asking those questions, I recommend what can my child do to improve and get more minutes. So instead of going to a coach and say, why is this not happening or what's that not happening, what can we do at home or what can we do as parents with our child to help him or help her improve and become a better player.
Good perspective to have for any parent out there, to be just more kind of like, all right, like how can we do better job for him, for his improvement? Because sometimes even that it's not a short-term thing for you to play and develop. It's a long term. So it's not that if you don't play as much first 2-3 games or first part of the season that you can't change your status.
Definitely. And the other thing I recommend a lot, it's have your child play at home with you, or the child play with the ball alone. Why is that important?
Tell us.
When it comes to practice, is the kid is in an organized environment, a structured setup where the coach is telling the kid what to do, how to do it, when to do it. When a kid practices at home on his or on her own, there's no coach there to watch, to tell the player what to do. So now creativity comes into place. And mentally it's different. The kid is more relaxed. There's nobody there to watch him or her. So I think it's very important, this development at home on the side, outside of organized practice, it's very, very important.
This is,
you guys know when we grew up, we learned all the tricks, not in practice. We learned them on the streets on our own, right? And kids these days, they have this beautiful tool, which is called YouTube, which when I grew up did not exist. You can just go watch some footage on YouTube and you go home and you practice it. You have it's at your fingertips.
What you have mentioned now is golden. Definitely a golden thing and feedback and perspective, just because of how important it is with this. What you just said, I had it in my mind. I couldn't put it in words how you put it, and certainly said that it's a structured environment where you kind of controlled, and your creativity probably is a little bit on a lower level in usage, how it would be in a kind of free pick-up play and just out there. So very, very good input on this topic about that.
And
so definitely
I wanted to mention also.
Improve.
Yeah. Continue.
I'm sorry, you were breaking up. No, so what I wanted to mention is, I always tell our players, it's not what you do in practice only, it's what you do outside of practice. That's going to make you a complete player, Practicing 3, even 4 times a week is not enough. And again, I think it's the mental part that's really important. Being on your own, just you and the ball, and now you have to make up all the drills. You can fool around with the ball, you can try different things, which in practice is really, you don't have time for that. You have to run a team practice. Yeah, sometimes you do stop and correct players and talk to players individually, of course. But overall, practice is a team practice. And of course, the other option is always private training, which of course costs money. But again, even in private training, you are supervised.
Yes.
You know. So yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Cool. No, definitely. What you mentioned also for YouTube, it's an amazing thing to have. I will never forget my game when I was in a locker room and just went through some Nemanja Vidic highlights, and I went to the field. Man, it was a different game for me. So you mentioned that thing that it's very inspiring. So
And
your coaching.
I recommend our players
Yeah.
a lot to watch. I always recommend our players to watch older soccer games from the 90s, where soccer was a lot slower, was more geared towards individual skill, where you could see so many players dribbling and making moves. Today, soccer is so fast and so aggressive and such a high tempo where individual skill to make moves, it's not, you don't have the time for that anymore, you know. It's all about playing 1-2 touch game today, you know. So to see the evolution of soccer in the last 20, 30 years, it's with the YouTube option, it's amazing for these kids, you know.
Great.
Yeah. So
Don.
great. I wanted to see your kind of opinion on that. Your coaching growth over the years has shaped you. So, Tran, what would you say to yourself 15 years ago when you started coaching?
Well, when the club started 11, 12, 13, 15 years ago, but I started training coaching since 99. Soccer changed even from 99 to now. It changed dramatically. So I would say I would focus more on speed of play. Play faster. Whatever you do, just play faster. Advance the game quicker. I remember in the beginning when I started, and that was still the mentality of the 90s soccer, where control the ball, take players on, make a move, do a feint, So in the last, I would say, 15 years, the speed of the game is just going faster and faster. So that's what I would tell myself when I started. Whatever you did, just push them to do it a lot faster.
Great.
Great.
Soccer, talking about soccer in USA, general level of soccer, what is your opinion? And all things can get better. What is something that, in your opinion, you think soccer in USA, how can it get better?
Soccer has gotten so much better. And you look at the results of the U.S. Men's national team, the U.S. women's, especially national team, soccer's got so much better in this country. I think there's a little bit too much emphasis at the younger ages of having results, winning games. And I think that's coming a little bit from the fact that a lot of clubs are very expensive. So they have to justify in a way to the parents, hey, we are better than the other club because we win games. And I don't think that's always productive for the kids, but this emphasis on winning, I wish it wasn't as strong as it is now. Plus, parents want to see wins. They go to a game on Sunday or Saturday. They don't want to see their kid lose a game. But very few parents actually see this game from a different angle, where, okay, you lost the game, but your kid and the rest of his team or her team did really good on this part of the game. Possession or high pressure or switching sides or whatever the topic of that game was for that team. Very few parents see that part. They see the result. And I think that it would be better if that would change a little bit. Less emphasis on winning, more on the actual game.
Yes.
But overall, soccer is getting much, much better. It shows at the national level with the national teams.
Things are going to get as well. As soon as the Qatar World Cup is finished, things are here going to get very interesting, because World Cup will be coming to US.
I think so,
Yeah,
right? They're
but-
talking about bringing it back, right?
Yes, 2026 in USA. I think that there will be a fever, soccer fever from January next year going on. I think that's my opinion.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but-
soccer benefited a lot. Soccer benefited a lot from at the youth level. So many more kids are playing soccer now than 20 years ago, and unfortunately, it's because football, American football, many parents don't allow their boys, especially, to play that sport anymore.
Indeed.
So that a lot of those kids they came to soccer and other sports, but soccer definitely benefited from that. And of course, having more players, it's a bigger pool of talent. And now you see the majority of the players in the national team playing strong leagues in Europe or South America or and even in MLS, really strong players.
Nice.
Definitely, I like the direction soccer is going. Just a couple of things, of course, could be better, but overall, soccer is going in the right direction, I think.
Nice.
That's the most important part. So, but you can see that there are a lot of tournaments here in USA. So, what is your opinion? Is that there are too much of tournament, too much, or there is a good kind of a balance between those tournaments in USA?
I think, in my opinion, it comes down to the age of the player. At the younger ages, I think the number of tournaments really don't matter because, up to, let's say, 14 years old, right? It really doesn't matter because it's either, the more actually the better because you have different levels of tournaments for the stronger teams, for the mid-level, for the lower teams, for beginners. Now, when it comes to the older ages, where now you want to find that top 10% at every age level, having too many tournaments, I think can cause a problem where the talent is so spread out that college coaches, for example, cannot cover all these tournaments and see all these good players. If you go on a website like Got Soccer and you look at the tournaments, there's
True.
hundreds of tournaments,
From March.
showcase tournaments where, they're all over the country all the time. How are these college coaches going to see all these players? So I think for those players that aim for the next level, which is college or professional, should be a little bit less number of tournaments, maybe regionally somehow, and where for example, a coach can go and watch teams from 5, 6, 7 states instead of 1 or 2 states, And I think there should be tournaments geared, and there are some tournaments, of course, geared for that, but tournaments where maybe somehow U.S. Soccer would be involved and maybe run by them, and where only a certain team can be accepted, with certain results. And
Good idea.
But the number of tournaments overall, I think it's fine for the younger ones. But at the older ages, I like to see more of a narrower, let's call it a funnel, where you're getting all these top teams into a smaller number of tournaments. So now, those players can be seen, multiple players can be seen in one location.
And so to say, deserved to be seen. You get it because of the results. You have now opportunity to be seen, which is definitely a good thing for those players that are providing good results in that age. That age, 15, 16, 17, so to say. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, once you start hitting, high school age, for those players that are thinking college, they want to play in college or university or professional, and of course, a lot, they do go to college showcase tournaments, of course, and they play in these national leagues. But, the problem, again, too many tournaments at that age, now you spread all this talent all over the country. Yeah. It's difficult for these coaches and recruiters to go and see all these players.
Indeed.
Of course, there are tools online where you can sign up as a player or a club and submit video, but it's not the same as seeing a player live.
It's not. Yeah. Talking about U.S. soccer players, you mentioned hey, watch a little bit more videos, especially the older soccer 20, 30 years ago, even 20 years, even 15 years ago. Take a look at that. Take a look. Try to do pickup soccer. Try to train by yourself so you can be in that, so to say, free environment. Is there anything else that comes to your mind that soccer players should do more?
Read about the game too. Yes, watch it, online, watch games and play, but also read, because this way now you learn how the world of transfers work, or you see what issues certain players run into, by posting things on social media. They can get in trouble these days. So
Yes.
by reading also about the game and players, you read about some really good things players do and some mistakes they do, and you learn from that. So,
Indeed.
it's like anything else in life. If it's your hobby, if it's your love and passion, then you try to consume it in every way possible.
Indeed, and this is a very good advice too, because, always gives me a funny example, like Ibrahimovic, when he went to Ajax, and his I Am Zlatan, a book, it does say, and the book is recommended for any youth player. There is a little bit of language issue, maybe some parents will not be happy. It's not too bad, but it definitely portrays a picture how he thought he would not need an agent, that everything should be based by words and that's all. And he did show up to Ajax without an agent, and he did say after that, he said, from now on, I must have my agent. So that is one of the things that I read, and definitely gives many other insights when you read through those biographies, dealing with injuries, dealing with pressure, dealing with opportunities, one-time opportunity to show up your skill. How do you deal with those situations? Family support, and etc.
Right, and especially for American kids, and there are so many cases that very good players from here try to, they went to Europe and they did for tryouts or to get into an academy, and not having the right agent makes it super, super difficult. And how do you find the right agent? That's in the first place. That's very difficult. And again, the world of not just soccer, but world of professional sports is very complicated. And but the more you read about it, the more you learn, and the more knowledge you acquire, you make better decisions.
Indeed.
That's right. Trent, you played soccer also, so I was thinking, who is the best coach in your life, and why he was the best coach for you?
I had two coaches growing up. So I moved here in the States when I was 18. So my juniors years, my youth level was in Romania. And I had two coaches. My original coach from 10 years old till I was, I want to say, 16. And then the last 2 years, from 16 to 18, I had a little bit younger coach. Different approaches, but also the end result was the same, just different approach. So, as a kid, you connect easier with the coach that makes things also fun, right? But again, I grew up in an environment where soccer for me it was my religion. There was nothing else. So for me, it was
Haji from prime time.
Yeah. So there was no conflict with other sports or other activities, but so for the coaches, it was from that aspect, they didn't have to convince us to play hard, to be at the practice and all that. But I think a good coach would also connect with kids. You got to get down to their level sometimes. You push them hard, you work hard, but also make it fun. Let them know that when you're tough on them, you're not tough on them because you're mad at them. You just want to push, and kick their butts a little bit,
Yes.
But so yes, both of my coaches were great. My first coach pushed me really hard and molded me into I hope I was a good player. But my second coach, the last person I had, was younger, and he connected with us also in a different way. So I enjoyed both of them. I definitely enjoyed both of them, and it really helped me actually experiencing both sides of
Nice.
coaching.
Tell us one fun story from your playing days. It can be literally anything from your teammates, from a coach situation, etc.
So I came in the United States in '94. I tell you what, guys, in the '90s, Chicago had really, really high level of soccer. The amateur level was so strong. There were players from all over the world, even ex-professional players, still young-ish in their 30s, moved to Chicago. The leagues in Chicago were in Illinois, I want to say, very, very strong. I remember one thing. I want to say it was maybe late '90s, maybe early 2000s. I don't know exactly what year was it. We made a select team from it's called National Soccer League, and we made a select team, and we played the Chicago Fire, the MLS club,
Yes.
in a friendly game. And this was when Chicago Fire was really strong. They were really doing really well in those years.
True.
I remember C.J. Brown was there.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so we set up this friendly game. The coach for the Illinois State team and the Fire organization at the Schwaben Center.
Go on.
And we ended up 1-1 the game.
Wow. Who scored
So
first?
it was a very strong game, very even match, and it was a great experience.
Who scored first?
1-1.
I don't remember. I don't remember who scored first. I just
you
remember it was a
score?
really good game. I'm sorry.
Did you score?
Oh yeah, I scored 5 goals that game. No, he was one of the forwards. I remember that. But and I remember, if I remember right, we also hit the crossbar in the
So
game.
playing against them, was it big? Like how you mentioned amateur level, and you played with that level all the time. Was it big difference, or you were like, oh, actually, I mean, one
No,
match,
it was very
it was
match.
very fair.
It was very, very even match. And, Stefan, in those years, freshly from Europe, we were all fit. We were young. I mean, we
Yes.
were playing like crazy, and we gave them a very good game.
Nice.
Very even match. And I think both teams walked away from that game satisfied. It was a good game for Fire, preparation game. For us, it was a confirmation that we are strong also.
Yes.
And
Nice.
that was a really good experience, good fun experience.
Nice.
Nice, Tren. So, Tren, who is your favorite athlete in the world, and why he's the
In the world of
He's the
soccer
one.
or all sports?
All sports.
all sports?
That is not a tough question at all. Such
You-
an easy question to answer. Oh my God.
Emphasis is on why.
You left, yeah. Oh man. I tell you what, I'm going to stick to the world of soccer because we are on the topic of soccer.
Indeed.
No matter what I say, of course, someone else could be, of course, considered for this nomination. But in my opinion, I have to say Messi at this point. And here's why. Of course, he's a really good player, but also I think he sets an example not to just youth, but also to other adult players about the way he behaves with his teammates on the field. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. You rarely see him upset with his own teammates. You rarely see him in conflict with the other team. Yes, of course, he had altercations here and there. I don't think I've ever seen him actually, after scoring a goal, to celebrate in a way to put the other team down, to over-celebrate, Yes, of course, he enjoyed his goals, took his shirt off a few times
Yeah,
and
of
all
course.
that. But-
Yeah, I know one game when he showed off
So,
his.
but overall, if you watch his demeanor on the field, you can almost say he's very shy, which probably he's not, you know, as a player, but I don't know him as a person, but just the way he behaves and the way he acts, I think a lot of players should do a little more, should be a little more down to earth instead of, and I guess, you know, I know soccer is very emotional. Sometimes it's hard to control your emotions, but, and you act based on emotions many times. But I have to say Messi at this point.
So, in other words, no doubt about how great of a soccer player is, but also emphasis on his behavior. Just a great combination of a true role model for any youth.
Yeah, definitely. Nice. And, you know, even though he was captain for Barcelona for so many years and the main guy for Barcelona, he never acted like, hey, I'm the sheriff and you guys are all here for me, you know. And he shows in his game, you know. He's not very selfish. Yeah, sometimes he's selfish and he scores a goal, of course, but just the number of the assists he has also and the way he behaves with his teammates, it's, to me, is a great leader, you know, on the team.
Nice. Well, Traian, both me and Don, we really appreciate your feedback, your input, and your comments on different kinds of topics. There was some unbelievable, great insights you mentioned. I'm sure that whoever watches this podcast will find it very valuable, especially to people which is youth athletes and as well parents involved in sports. Definitely, this is going to be very worth it you to watch and hear from Coach Traian. It has over 20 plus years of experience in athletes world. So Traian, thank you for being our guest and for giving us all these insights.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much. And again, big congratulations on the podcast. I think you guys are providing a really informative program, and it helps parents, hopefully, to navigate a little bit the world of soccer, you know, especially for youth. And I recommend anyone to keep watching you, keep an eye on you, because I'm sure you're going to bring other people with more information on your programs. And I wish you guys long life and only the best.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach Traian. We
it was a pleasure.
Thing. And Don, the message to your favorite person from Chicago.
Yeah, man, just stay as you are. Like, you're awesome, man.
I'm not planning on changing, guys. All right, awesome.
Coach Traian,
awesome,
bye-bye.
man.
See you. Bye-bye, guys.
Take care.
Take care.
Okay.
All good?
So I was... Yeah, man.